We are honored to have Mr. Michael Wood, Member of Parliament, New Zealand. Pradeep will be speaking few words introducing Michael Wood.
Ellarigu Sharanu. My name is Pradeep. I have my family here with me. My wife Pramila, kids Arush and Amulya. Today I am privileged to introduce our honorable guest, Michael Wood. Michael was first elected to Parliament at the 2016 Mount Roskill by-election. In opposition, he was named as the Labour Party's spokesperson for Transport, Revenue and Consumer Affairs. Michael was sworn in as Parliamentary Undersecretary for Ethnic Communities following the formation of the 6th Labour government. He has held various roles in Labour government as the chair of the Finance and Expenditure Select Committee before coming into the Chief Labour Whip role in mid-2019. As Chief Whip, Michael's role is to manage Labour Party's team of 46 MPs, ensuring that they are well supported to do their jobs. He also continues a strong association with New Zealand's vibrant and growing ethnic communities, owing to his previous role and highly diverse nature of Mount Roskill electorate he represents. Prior to his parliamentary role, Michael was an Auckland Council member in his community and has held roles providing advice to Habitat for Humanity and as a senior negotiator for the finance sector union, FinSec. Michael is driven by the core belief that all people deserve the opportunity to flourish and reach their potential regardless of background, and this is most likely to occur when we build strong, fair, and supportive communities. He believes that an economy and public institutions that are focused on people's well-being will lead to a society that is both more prosperous and just. Along with his wife Julie and their 3 young sons, Michael lives in Roskill South, where he loves to tramp along the Waikowhai coast, tends to a very neglected vegetable garden, and dreams of an alternative career as a roving international test cricket commentator. Thank you.
Namaskara, kia ora koutou katoa, and a very, very happy Basava Jayanthi to all of you. It's my real pleasure to be able to join with you for this Basava Jayanthi, a very special one. The 20th anniversary, I understand, of the establishment of the Basava Samiti chapter here in New Zealand. And so it's very special to be with you, having had the privilege of joining you for these celebrations over a number of years. Pradeep, can I just thank you for that very, very kind introduction that you gave just before? And can I also acknowledge President Lena Kalburgi for the invitation this evening, Lena, and for all of the work that you and my good friend, Dr. Lingapa Kalburgi G do for the community. Can I also say at the outset that on one hand, I feel a little bit sad that we can't meet in person, because we usually do that at the Mount Roskill War Memorial Hall for Basava Jayanthi every year, and it's a very special occasion, one I always put in my diary. So I feel a bit sad I can't see you face to face and share a wonderful meal afterwards. But how wonderful it is that we have this technology that does enable us to connect at this time, and that we're able to also connect, I understand, with people from chapters in Australia and India on this Zoom meeting as well. So sometimes in difficult times, we need to look at the blessings that we do have in our lives. And I think that is one of them, that we have the blessing of this technology to connect with one another. And I'm sure it's going to be a very special evening, even though we're not in the same room together. Look, I heard earlier on in the introductions that one of the things that Lord Basavana taught us is that we should be sharp and to the point as possible when we are speaking. That is very challenging advice for we politicians, because sometimes we are not sharp and to the point, but I will be endeavouring to do that tonight. I think that one of the reasons that I have always felt warmly welcomed and very comfortable and at ease at your events is because I see so much commonality in the teachings of Lord Basava with what I believe, and my background as someone in the Labour movement and the Labour Party as well. I'm deeply inspired by the teachings of Lord Basava when I come to these meetings and when I read about them at other times as well. And to think that all those years ago, I think 887 years ago, he was born. We had this great man who was not only a religious teacher, but also a poet, also a writer, also the chief minister, a man of enormous talents, who in that day and age put forward that fundamental idea that all human beings are infused with a fundamental dignity that comes from their connection with God, and that everyone, therefore, regardless of background, caste, regardless of gender, regardless of social status or class, should be treated equally and given an opportunity to engage in the society. And it's my understanding that when he was the chief minister, he operated sessions where any citizen, no matter what their standing, from the greatest to the lowliest in the land, could come and sit down with him and talk about the affairs of the day and tell him their views on various matters. One of the things that also attracts me about Lord Basava's teachings, and my colleague Priyanka Radhakrishna mentioned it before, was this focus on the importance of work in our lives. And there's that wonderful phrase that he uses. And I know when we usually have Basava Jayanthi, it's usually there on a big banner on the wall, and it says work is worship. That idea that one of the important things and tasks for us as human beings is to apply ourselves faithfully to the work that we have to do, whether that is work that is in our professional lives, whether it is the work of community service to one another, whether it is the work of raising and supporting our families, that work is a form of worship. It is a way in which we can honour God and honour our creation when we do it well and when we do it faithfully. And for me, as someone who has come through the labour movement, through trade unions and through the Labour Party, that very much aligns with this fundamental view that I have, that work is critical to our meaning as human beings, and we must therefore treat people in the work that they do with dignity and ensure that people, when they are carrying out their work, are treated with respect and honour for the work that they do carry out. The final reflection that I have based on the teachings of Lord Basava, and again, this was mentioned earlier on, was that I think the way it was put was that our deeds must reflect our words. So it's all very well for us to say the good things when we gather together like this and on other occasions. But we must also go out there and practice it. One of the favourite sayings I have is from the author Jane Austen, and she said this. She said, this saying is from St. Francis of Assisi. He said, "Preach the gospel to all the world. Use words if necessary." In other words, go out there and express your love for God and your love for your fellow human beings by doing good things. And one of the things that I do admire about Basava Samiti is that I know that you have a very, very big focus on community service and on ensuring that the people in your community go out there at an individual and community level and serve other people in our community. And that is just such a wonderful thing for us to focus on. And I think especially having come through the last 8 weeks of COVID-19, a time of uncertainty and worry for many people, it has been so wonderful to see the support and the strength of our community relationships at this time. And I want to thank Basava Samiti and all of you for the role that you have played in that, in helping the people around you to get through this very, very challenging time here in New Zealand and also around the world. So once again, can I thank you for this invitation? Can I acknowledge you, Lena? Can I acknowledge Swamiji, who was with us here this evening, and everyone from Basava Samiti. It's been wonderful to be here with you this evening, to hear the children being involved, and I very much look forward to 2021 when we might be able to be in the same room again together for Basava Jayanthi. So thank you very much. Dhanyavada, and have a wonderful, wonderful evening. Thank you, and best wishes for the rest of the program.
Awesome. Sharanu Sharanarthi, Michael. Yes, work is worship is a key motto of Basava philosophy, and thank you for doing some research and sharing few words about Basava philosophy. Really appreciate of that. And as you said, next year we will be hosting the global convention of New Zealand Basava Samiti, and many other countries guests will be visiting New Zealand. So we really look forward to have you on board for the global convention.
Wonderful. I will put it in my diary now. I'll look forward to being there. It sounds like a wonderful event.
Thank you.
That's going to be in Easter time.
Excellent. Okay. Now, well, as I say, I'll make sure I put that down. And for me, it's always one of those events at the beginning of the year. I ask my staff to make some time because this is when I first became an elected member. This was one of the first events, Lena, that you and Dr. Lingapa invited me along to. And so I do try and come every year, and it'll be extra special if we have friends from around the world with us, and it'll be great to welcome them in our Kiwi way for that event.
Sure. Thank you.
Awesome.